Alright, fellas, the pot is boiling with this one. I'm just kidding. There's a couple things I want to address. I have the patch notes up here for Rematch, and just kind of wanted to go over what's new, what I do like, what I don't like. Um, Nothing really big. They just kind of fixed some exploits. I've made a lot of comments with a few people on my last video. I didn't know it'd get as popular as it did, but here we are. So I'm going to talk about the mechanic that everyone wanted to fix first, which is a moonwalking. It's no longer a thing, really. You can probably hit the ball like maybe twice, maybe more, I don't know. But so far, I think you can only hit it like just about twice. What they did, let me see here in the patch notes, with the moonwalking, wall dribbling, climbing, we aim to fix some issues that allow players to fly and avoid all interactions with the other players by spamming volley lob taps against the wall. There's another mechanic that is completely at odds with our vision. Yeah, so basically they made it so the ball is interactable 5 frames later than normal, which they think will still allow you to do backboards but not mess up, I guess, too many attempts at passes. What's interesting to me about that is that you can still like aggressively kick the ball at net. That was a really bad example of it, but I'm just going to kind of show that here. Not that it's not helpful, I just feel like that might still honestly be like a problem, being able to, I feel like, do that like 50 times in a row when it's in the air, you know? Like, you can still kind of spam this, which I can imagine it being like kind of hard to deal with in certain situations. Outside of that, yeah, the mechanic's basically gone. Here's one I don't really care for. In no way in my mind did I really think they would patch this. So basically, they patched the dolphin dive speed boost. So if you would run from this side of the field to that wall, you'd get there in 6 seconds. And before the patch, you get there in roughly 5.15. I took that from another tutorial video, basically by constantly diving like a dolphin. And it kind of takes a hit to your stamina. So I don't think the mechanic was really jank. It's something anyone could do, and positioning wouldn't matter if everyone knew that was the mechanic to do. I know it looks silly. They said it didn't really align with the vision of their game. Straight from their website, what they said is outfield dive, aka dolphin dive, tweaked values to make the character speed lower during the ability's recovery period. Which I think what they could have done, because I've noticed that doing this is honestly kind of faster than extra effort. I think they could have made the dolphin dive faster than sprint for returns, but slower than extra effort. I think would probably be a decent way to balance it. Because at the end of the day, if you notice when I'm diving like this, I have to wait till I land before I make another jump. And I think that's kind of like a good example of why it's like, it's good because you get a speed boost, right? But at the end of the day, like, you're hindered in going in that direction that you're already jumping in. So if someone were to pass the ball to the side, like, I don't know, it's funny. I get why they patched it. It doesn't align with the vision of the game. Going a little faster, I think they still could have managed to make it faster than sprint, not as fast as extra effort, because honestly, it's fun. It's hard not to lose my composure when I do this mechanic, which makes me feel like even more so it should stay in the game. But yeah, if they don't think it aligns with the vision, it's not going to change the game that much. It was fun to do, and it kind of helped you get a leg up on players who didn't know the tech. But at no point could no one do the tech. Everyone could do the tech. It wasn't like inherently like really busted. You get faster to the goal by like 0.85 milliseconds, right? So it's, to me, it was kind of a silly patch. I think there was a lot of ways to have fixed that without making it slower. I do have a stopwatch here, just to kind of, I mean, we're relying on my finger here to time it with my sprint, but let's kind of see here. I'll start sprinting as soon as I hit it. So right now, I'm just going to run straight back to the net. This probably isn't a good thing because I'm using sweeper, but so right there, I just made it there at about 5.90. So I think sweeper might actually be a little bit faster than regular people. I think the game explains that. But let's try diving. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. I'm diving right now. I'm going to put my finger on my phone as fast as I can right after this jump. And that's about 5.51, but I did accidentally do like a long dive where I went into goal. Point is I think that's like, I don't think it's faster still. Being a sweeper isn't a good example. We're going to do one more. So I started it. Let's see, one more jump and stop. Okay, so it's about 5.70. I wonder if it's still a little bit faster. It could just be my timing of having to reach my finger to my phone, but if it is, it's like a 20 millisecond difference. Not as busted as the 85. With that being said, I think that's the two things they patched. They've established on their patch notes that they care about the competitive scene and the new meta, which I really like because I didn't want them to just disregard things people are doing to, you know, I don't know. I guess my point in this is that I'm saying we need pushback. Like for every player that doesn't like a mechanic that's extremely busted or not as busted, we need someone to talk about why it's okay to use or ways to fix that mechanic in case it enters the meta. We can't just complain about every little detail in the game. Moonwalking is kind of an exception. I had a lot of talks in my comments about this, but it's just really busted, I guess, if you start going up to the ceiling. You can still kind of do it a little bit. There's a little bit of a tight window. You don't really levitate. I'm sure someone will find a way to do something. People are always finding ways to break the game. Also, don't know if this is anything, but you can. Maybe they fixed it. But you can kind of kick the ball out of the net, out of the wall here. I don't know if it's contestable in that state. If you switch between L2 and L1, you guys can probably see that, right? Full, like just from full sprinting. I don't know if that's going to lead to anything. I've tried messing around with it for like hours on a few different mechanics, and I don't know, I'm kind of dumb, so I didn't figure out much. With that being said, I want to talk about one more thing. I'm Plat Div 2 right now. Been honestly winning quite a few games. The game gets crazy later on. I have a couple friends who were in Elite. With that being said, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that you can't lose your rank. So when you're divvying up or down, you can lose games, go up 20, less than or down 17, 18, whatever, right? But when you win 3 promotional matches, you permanently stay that rank. I've had one person tell me that that's not true, but since I've gotten to Plat, the first few games I played in Plat with like people who were not my friends, I lost like 5 plus even more in a row, and you don't div down from that official rank of Platinum. Like Gold, you don't div down, Plat, you don't div down, like Elite, Diamond, I don't think you div down, but you do in the divisions. I actually like this mechanic, and I kind of want to go over a little bit where my pushback is on this. I just like giving pushback because I like the middle ground, so I will continue to do that if I like something personally. I get everyone has their own opinions about janky mechanics and ranks and whatnot, but pushback's important no matter the situation. So with that being said, I'm going to stay on my side of things and not just what everyone's saying on every other YouTube video or social media. With that being said, Platinum, I have not dived down when I lost all those games in a row. I don't think they should do it, and the reason I want to kind of elaborate on why is because when I was playing before in Gold, I was like hard stuck in Gold 3. Not hard stuck, but I was in Gold 3. The game's new, right? I dived down to Gold 1, and I couldn't really get farther than 1 or 2, and it took like, basically, I got all my controls mixed up like all the time. I would shoot when I meant to pass. I would like pass when I meant to shoot. I would want to hit headers by being defense stance, and since the marker doesn't come up, it's kind of harder to actually react on that stuff. Like I heard someone the other day say like to hold L2 and keep pressing X, and that doesn't make sense to like catch the ball in the air, and that's how he used it to explain it. It's like no, the marker goes away. If the ball is in the air, I'm not going to catch it by holding L2 and pressing X. I'm just showing that right now just to kind of give you guys an idea. Like, I am dashing because that's what you do when you hold L2. The marker is never going to come up until they decide they want to add a patch for something like that. Anyways, back to the rank stuff. I think it should stay the same. So basically, I like playing 3 promotional matches and only having to win 2 to permanently get your rank. And the reason why is because it wasn't until I cleaned up switching up my shots and stuff around and actually learning what the controls were alongside of adding good defense, and when I say good defense, I'm not good at this game. I'm decent. I'm pretty decent at Rocket League. I'm like champ 1. It's not high these days. A lot of people are champ. But what I wanted to elaborate with on that is that I feel like you have to learn mechanics and a system to actually make progress. I was losing constantly in plat until I played with one more person who stayed up center field. And that kind of vouches for like 2 people should stay center and 2 people should be strikers. Or you could have a really good defender and 3 people up front. But the point is, you should not just have 4 people up front all the time. You get one person who hits a banger and one person who stays up front, that is always going to fall completely apart. And I genuinely think if you want to get higher up in the rank, I know I'm just a plat talking, no one's special, you cannot just all 4 be up all the time unless you guys are all good at blocking each individual player to a T, including the goalie, which might sound crazy impossible, right? So keep someone on defense, or like have 2 people in the center, 2 people up front, or however you want. Maybe just don't have 3 people back when there are 3 or 4 people who are facing one striker on their side of the net. Because why would you do that, right? Spread out like butter. I'm not a soccer player. I've done a lot of rotation stuff in Rocket League, and there's certain things you can do no matter how good you are at sports games or whatever, where you just don't run into these situations that are trashy. You know what I mean? Um, I like the rank thing because it forces you to adapt. Either every player is going to get good in that rank, or you're going to have a mixture of these players that are both good and bad. But the point is that you would get out of that rank if you played with a 5-man squad. If 2 of them, and I'm not kidding, if 2 of them stayed back in defense, that's kind of like what it takes sometimes, right? And you can have good offensive teams, but you guys all have to mark people, or like you just have to be on top of passing lanes, stuff like that. Like I said, I don't really play games like this, but like I've been playing Rocket League for like a long time, and if I'm here with the ball, right, and there's a net right here, and people run up from behind me that are on my team, all trying to get this ball when I have one defender, and there's all of this open space over here, like there's so many areas to make a play, right? You could like literally just kick it towards center. You can hit it off the backboard into the corner a little bit for the people who are farther out. You can literally just lob it. I see people do this all the time. They'll take the ball to the corner here, and you can learn this just by simply watching people. They'll be right here and they'll just lob it like that. And it's a solid lob for anyone in center court. It absolutely decimates some people in lower ranks. But yeah, just form a team. Don't complain about the ranking system. If you don't like the ranking system, play with people who you think match you. If you're losing games constantly, look around your field and see if all 4 of you are always up. Why there's 1 red or 2 red people on the other team or whatever, right? Like just take a gander at things and try your best to adjust. Spreading like butter is a really good example. This game isn't real soccer. It's not Rocket League. It's basically Sifu soccer in a sense. So just try not to be in people's zones, and don't change the rank things. I think they did a decent job patching the mechanics. So you guys are tuning in this long. I don't have much more to give to you. So thanks for tuning in.